So I went through that phase with them where it took a while because I had to prove that it was my money. My mother died penniless. My mother didn't have any money. And the reason why I said to my sister, you know very well that mommy didn't have any money because you stole it all while she was living. She had nothing, okay? You stole it all. And so after that time period, I stopped speaking to her again. And here we go. That's why I said my husband, my husband is like, he's always getting me in trouble. He said, look, your mother's dead, your dad's dead, and my real father had died also too. It was nothing but us left. Why don't you try to work something out with your sister? And I said, you know, every time I get with her, there's always an issue. There's always an issue. And so I said, okay. I said, I'm gonna try this out one more time. And I never forget, it was a Christmas time. So Christmas, we were going to Alaska for a 10-day cruise. My sister was getting put out with her 4 kids on the street 2 or 3 days before Christmas. My husband said, how are you going to go on a cruise to Alaska, have a good time, and your sister's getting put on the street with her 4 kids? I said, he said, you literally going to stand by and let that happen? I said, I sure am. I said, there's no reason for me to give her anything. I said, everything she's done to me, every time I help her, I always wind up getting stabbed in the back. Every single time I extend an olive branch to her, I get stabbed in the back. So he says, well, what can she do? You're going to just pay up her bills. I said, okay, Charles, I'll do it. So I went and got a cashier's check from my bank for $3,600 and paid her landlord. I went to all the utility companies because her utilities were off and she had an extension cord running from her apartment to the neighbor's apartment to get lights. And so I said, all right, I paid up all the utilities. I gave her $500. I filled up her refrigerator. I had to pay all of the security deposits. I must have spent about $6,000 or $7,000 to get my sister straight for Christmas so she wouldn't be on the street. Okay? So we need to fast forward this. About 3 years later, I had to remind my husband what I told him 3 years prior, that every time I do something for my sister, it's going to come bite me in the butt.